I was born of the land. Born in the year 232 AD in the bustling provincial town of Sirmium, located in Pannonia, a region that would later be known as Sremska Mitrovica in Vojvodina, Serbia. I, Marcus Aurelius Probus, emerged into a world of burgeoning possibilities and lingering threats. My father, a distinguished military officer in the Roman army, ensured that our family was well respected within the local community and deeply integrated into the fabric of Rome's military aristocracy. My early years were spent in the family villa, a sprawling estate nestled amidst the fertile plains of Pannonia. The villa was more than just a residence. It was a microcosm of Roman life and culture. Each day, I would awaken to the sight of the early morning sun, casting its golden rays across the lush fields that surrounded our home. My love of the empire was matched only by my love of family and the earth. I loved walking in the meadows near our family villa and began planting and gardening at an early age. Agriculture was of utmost importance to me. Not only did the land feed the empire, but its economy was predicated on being able to trade. From a young age, my education was a matter of great importance to my family. I would spend hours in the atrium every day with my tutors, learning Cicero, Marcus Aurelius, and other arts and sciences necessary for my status and station. The atrium was a grand room, open to the sky with a central impluvium to collect rainwater. It was a place of light and learning, where the voices of my tutors echoed against the marble walls, imparting wisdom and knowledge. My education was comprehensive, encompassing not only the classics, but also the practicalities of military strategy and governance. My father often took me to the peristyle garden, where, amidst the scent of blooming flowers and the gentle murmur of fountains, he would recount his experiences in the army. His stories of valor and duty ignited within me a deep-seated respect for the legions and the discipline they represented. It was here, in this serene and beautiful setting, that I began to understand the intricate balance between strength and stewardship that would later define my reign. The library of our villa, a sanctuary of scrolls and codices, became my refuge. I was particularly fascinated by the works of Cicero, whose eloquence and philosophical musings on duty and governance resonated deeply with me. The lessons of Marcus Aurelius, another of my namesakes, taught me the virtues of stoicism and the importance of inner strength. These teachings became the bedrock of my character, shaping my thoughts and guiding my actions. Family life was equally central to my upbringing. My mother, a woman of grace and intellect, ensured that our home was a place of warmth and nurturing. She often hosted gatherings in the triclinium, where local dignitaries and scholars would debate the issues of the day over sumptuous feasts. These gatherings were not just social events, but also opportunities for me to observe and learn the art of diplomacy and conversation. Despite the grandeur of our home and the prestige of our family, my father never allowed me to forget the importance of humility and hard work. He often took me to the fields surrounding our villa, where we would walk among the crops and vineyards. It was here that I first learned the fundamentals of agriculture, a passion that would stay with me throughout my life. The soil, to me, was more than just the foundation of our sustenance. It was the lifeblood of the empire. Thus, my early life was a tapestry of learning, family, and a profound connection to the land. These formative years in Sirmium instilled in me the values and knowledge that would later guide my decisions as emperor. I was nurtured by the wisdom of the ancients, the strength of my father's legacy, and the fertile soil of my homeland, all of which would shape the man I was destined to become. The transition from a privileged youth in Pannonia to the zenith of imperial power was as swift as it was unexpected. My journey to the throne began in the military camps and battlefields of the Roman Empire, where I earned my stripes and proved my worth. By the time I reached my 40s, I had already served with distinction in numerous campaigns, showcasing both my strategic acumen and my unwavering dedication to Rome. It was in the eastern provinces, amid the sun-baked deserts and turbulent frontiers, that my destiny took a decisive turn. The year was 276 AD, and I was serving as the Eastern Praetorian Prefect. Emperor Tacitus had recently passed away, and his brother Florianus, or Florian as he was more commonly known, assumed the mantle of power. His rule, however, was met with immediate opposition, his legitimacy questioned by many within the ranks of the army. One fateful day, as the crimson sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the dusty plains, my troops gathered around me. Their faces, weathered and resolute, reflected a shared conviction. They proclaimed me emperor in opposition to Florian, a declaration that was as much a testament to their loyalty as it was to their faith in my leadership. It was a moment of profound realization. The weight of the empire now rested on my shoulders. The transition was anything but smooth. Florian's forces were substantial, and the threat of civil war loomed large. But fortune, or perhaps the favor of the gods, was on my side. Within a few months, Florian was killed by his own men, a testament to the fragility of his support and the discontent within his ranks. With his demise, my path to the throne was clear, and I was hailed as the new Emperor of Rome. The Ascension ceremony in Rome was a spectacle of grandeur and tradition. Held in the heart of the city, amidst the towering columns and marble edifices, I was officially declared Emperor Marcus Aurelius Probus. Clad in the imperial purple, I stood before the Senate and the people, my heart swelling with a mixture of pride and solemn duty. The forum, adorned with garlands and filled with the echoes of cheering citizens, bore witness to this pivotal moment. As I gazed upon the assembled masses from the steps of the Capitoline Hill, the gravity of my new role settled upon me. I recalled the teachings of my youth, the wisdom of Cicero and Marcus Aurelius. Their words, ingrained in my memory, guided my thoughts. The importance of justice, the necessity of strong governance, and the balance between power and compassion. In the days following my ascension, I retreated to the privacy of the imperial palace, seeking solace in its tranquil gardens. The palace, with its vast halls and opulent chambers, was a stark contrast to the simplicity of my family villa in Pannonia. Yet it was within these walls that I began to chart the course of my reign. I convened with my advisors in the tablinum, a room lined with scrolls and maps, where we discussed the pressing issues facing the empire frontier defenses, economic stability, and internal strife. One evening, as the lamps flickered and the aroma of freshly cut herbs filled the air, I found myself in the peristyle garden once more. The serene environment brought back memories of my father's teachings and the peaceful meadows of my youth. It was here that I resolved to lead with the same principles that had been instilled in me: diligence, respect for the land, and an unwavering commitment to the well-being of the empire. My rise to power was not merely a change in title, it was a transformation of purpose. From the son of a military officer to the ruler of Rome, my journey was marked by challenges and triumphs, each step a testament to the resilience and spirit of the empire. As I took the reins of power, I was determined to honor the legacy of my predecessors and to forge a path that would lead Rome to new heights of glory and prosperity. The early years of my reign were defined by relentless military campaigns and a tireless effort to secure the empire's borders. From the moment I ascended to the throne, it became clear that maintaining the stability of Rome required not only strategic brilliance, but also an unyielding resolve. The frontiers, particularly along the Rhine and the Danube, were rife with hostile tribes eager to exploit any sign of weakness. One of my first acts as emperor was to lead the legions into Gaul, where the Franks and the Alemanni had begun to breach our defenses. The campaign was arduous, a grueling test of endurance and tactical prowess. I remember vividly the long marches through dense forests, the clashing of swords and the cries of battle echoing through the valleys. We fought with a fervor born of necessity, and though the toll was high, our victories were decisive. The tribes were repelled, their incursions thwarted, and peace, however tenuous, was restored to the region. In the east, I confronted the Palmyrene insurrection, a formidable challenge that tested my diplomatic skills as much as my military acumen. The rich and ancient city of Palmyra, under the leadership of Queen Zenobia's descendants, posed a significant threat to Roman authority. By employing a combination of force and negotiation, I managed to bring the rebellious province back into the fold, ensuring the continued prosperity and unity of the empire. These military triumphs were paralleled by efforts to stabilize and invigorate the Roman economy. Recognizing the central role of agriculture in our society, I embarked on a series of initiatives aimed at revitalizing rural communities and improving agricultural productivity. The rolling vineyards of Gaul, the olive groves of Spain, and the fertile fields of Britain all benefited from my policies. I encouraged the planting of vineyards in regions previously considered unsuitable, believing fervently in the potential of the land to sustain and enrich our people. One of my most ambitious projects was the reclamation of arable land in the Balkans. Under my direction, soldiers were assigned to drain marshes, clear forests, and prepare the soil for cultivation. This initiative, though initially met with resistance, proved to be a boon for the empire. The increase in agricultural output not only fed our legions, but also stimulated trade and commerce, reinforcing the economic foundations of Rome. The capital itself was not neglected. Rome, with its grandeur and history, required constant attention to maintain its status as the heart of the empire. I oversaw the restoration of public buildings, the construction of new roads, and the improvement of the city's water supply. The bustling marketplaces, the grand amphitheaters, and the majestic temples all bore witness to a period of renewal, yet not all was serene within the empire. Insurrections flared up in various regions, Britain, Gaul, and Egypt among them. Each uprising was a stark reminder of the fragility of peace and the ever-present need for vigilance. My response was swift and decisive, employing both military might and administrative reforms to quell dissent and restore order. One of the more challenging aspects of my reign was my policy of allowing outside tribes to settle within the empire. While this strategy aimed to integrate these groups and bolster our defenses, it proved to be a double-edged sword. The settlement of these tribes often led to cultural clashes and strained resources, necessitating careful management and constant oversight. In the evenings, after the day's labors were done, I would retire to the gardens of the imperial palace, seeking respite among the blooming flowers and the gentle murmur of fountains. It was here, in the tranquil setting of the peristyle, that I found solace and clarity. Surrounded by the beauty of nature, I would reflect on the challenges of the day and plan for the future, drawing strength from the land that I so dearly cherished. Despite the incessant demands of ruling an empire, I never lost sight of my roots. My love for agriculture, instilled in me during my youth in Pannonia, remained a guiding force. I often visited the farms and fields, engaging with the farmers and laborers who toiled to feed the empire. Their hard work and dedication inspired me, reinforcing my commitment to policies that would support and sustain them. As the years passed, the fruits of our labor became evident. The borders were more secure, the economy more robust, and the people more prosperous. Yet I remained ever vigilant, knowing that the mantle of leadership required constant diligence and unwavering resolve. My reign, marked by both triumphs and trials, was a testament to the enduring spirit of Rome and the resilience of its people. As my reign progressed, the burdens of leadership weighed heavily upon me, but I remained steadfast in my duties. The constant demands of military campaigns, governance, and economic management left little room for rest. Despite the successes achieved, the challenges seemed unending, each day bringing new threats and obstacles to overcome. The year was 282 AD, and I was once again in my homeland of Sirmium, tending to the affairs of the empire. The tranquil plains and the familiar sights of my youth offered a brief respite from the rigors of rule. My days were spent in the council chambers, strategizing with my generals, and in the fields, overseeing the agricultural projects that were so dear to my heart. It was during this time that the seeds of discontent began to sprout within the ranks of the army. My policies, particularly those involving agricultural reclamation work, had not been well received by all. The strict discipline I imposed and the expectation that soldiers would partake in these laborious tasks fostered resentment. These men, trained for battle, saw manual labor as beneath their station. Whispers of discontent grew louder, and a sense of unrest permeated the camps. One fateful day, as I was inspecting a newly reclaimed area near Sirmium, the simmering anger reached a boiling point. A group of disgruntled soldiers, their faces twisted with frustration and defiance, confronted me. Their grievances were clear. They felt undervalued and overburdened, their roles as soldiers undermined by the tasks I had assigned them. I attempted to address their concerns, to explain the necessity of our efforts to sustain the empire, but their minds were made up. The confrontation quickly escalated. Amid the chaos and confusion, one of the soldiers, driven by rage and a sense of betrayal, struck a fatal blow. The world seemed to slow as I felt the sharp pain, and then darkness began to creep in from the edges of my vision. I fell to the ground, my strength ebbing away, surrounded by the very men I had led and protected. As I lay there, my thoughts drifted to my family, to the villa in Pannonia where I had spent my carefree youth, and to the dreams I had for Rome. I thought of the fields and vineyards, of the hard-working citizens who depended on our efforts. My love for the land, for agriculture, and for the empire's prosperity remained with me until the very end. My life, dedicated to the service of Rome, was slipping away in the very place it had begun. News of my death spread quickly, sending shockwaves through the empire. In Rome, the Senate and the people were stunned by the sudden and violent end of my reign. There was mourning for the emperor who had strived so tirelessly for the security and prosperity of the empire, but also uncertainty about the future. The soldiers who had struck me down were soon filled with regret. The realization of what they had done, a moment of anger resulting in the death of their emperor, was a heavy burden to bear. They had not only killed their leader, but also disrupted the stability of the empire. It was a somber reminder of the delicate balance of power and the unpredictable nature of human emotions. My body was taken back to the imperial palace in Sirmium, where preparations were made for my funeral. In the grand hall, beneath the towering statues of past emperors, my remains lay in state. The people of Sirmium, from the noble elite to the humble farmers, came to pay their respects. They remembered me not just as an emperor, but as a fellow son of Pannonia, one who had shared their love for the land and worked tirelessly for the greater good. The funeral procession, a solemn and dignified affair, made its way through the streets of Sirmium. The air was heavy with incense and the sound of mournful hymns. My family, my advisors, and the citizens of the town walked alongside the bier, honoring my memory and my contributions to the empire. Thus ended the life of Marcus Aurelius Probus, a life dedicated to the service and stewardship of Rome. My death, a tragic end to a reign marked by both triumphs and trials, left a void that would not easily be filled. Yet, as the empire mourned, the seeds of my legacy had already begun to take root, destined to grow and flourish long after my passing. In the wake of my death, the Roman Empire faced a period of reflection and adjustment. My reign, though marked by conflict and strife, had also been a time of significant progress and enduring reforms. As the people and the Senate grappled with the aftermath of my passing, the true extent of my contributions to Rome began to crystallize, shaping a legacy that would resonate through the ages. One of the most profound aspects of my legacy was my deep and abiding love for the land. From my earliest days in the meadows of Pannonia, I understood that the empire's strength was rooted in its agriculture. I'd always believed that a prosperous Rome was one where the fields were fertile, the granaries full, and the farmers content. My efforts to promote agriculture were not merely practical, but born of a genuine passion for the earth and its bounty. During my reign, I initiated numerous agricultural projects that transformed the landscape of the empire. The reclamation of marshlands and the clearing of forests in the Balkans created new arable land, increasing the empire's capacity to produce food and sustain its population. These projects, though initially met with resistance, eventually proved to be a cornerstone of Rome's agricultural prosperity. By involving soldiers in these efforts, I aimed to instill in them a sense of connection to the land they defended, though this vision was not always understood or appreciated. One of my most ambitious and enduring initiatives was the encouragement of viticulture in regions previously considered unsuitable for vineyards. I saw potential in the hills of Gaul, the plains of Spain, and even the damp fields of Britain. My policies led to the planting of vineyards across these provinces, fostering local economies and creating new trade opportunities. This expansion of viticulture not only enhanced the empire's wealth, but also brought about a cultural exchange, as the cultivation and enjoyment of wine became a shared experience across distant lands. Environmental stewardship was another hallmark of my legacy. I believed that the empire's natural resources were to be cherished and preserved. This belief was reflected in my policies promoting sustainable farming practices and the conservation of forests. I encouraged the planting of trees and the careful management of woodlands, understanding that these resources were vital not only for building and fuel, but also for the ecological health of the empire. In the years following my death, the fruits of these efforts became increasingly evident. The regions I had nurtured flourished, and the agricultural advancements I championed continued to support the empire's stability and growth. My successors, recognizing the value of these initiatives, built upon them, ensuring that the agricultural reforms I had implemented became an integral part of Roman policy. Beyond agriculture, my legacy was also defined by my dedication to the well-being of the empire and its people. The military campaigns I led, though arduous and fraught with danger, secured the borders and protected Rome from external threats. My victories against the Franks, Alemanni, and other hostile tribes brought a semblance of peace to the frontier regions, allowing for a period of relative stability and prosperity. My administrative reforms, aimed at improving the efficiency of governance and the management of resources, laid the groundwork for future emperors to build upon. By promoting meritocracy within the military and civil administration, I sought to ensure that the most capable individuals were entrusted with positions of responsibility, thereby strengthening the overall effectiveness of the empire's institutions. In the years that followed, historians and chroniclers looked back on my reign with a mixture of admiration and melancholy. My life and leadership were often recounted as a testament to the virtues of hard work, dedication, and a deep connection to the land. 4th century writers in particular highlighted my intense interest in agriculture and my efforts to enhance the empire's self-sufficiency. Yet my legacy was not without its complexities. The policy of allowing outside tribes to settle within the empire, while intended to bolster our defenses, introduced challenges that future generations would have to navigate. These settlements sometimes led to cultural tensions and conflicts, illustrating the delicate balance between integration and assimilation. As I am remembered today, it is as an emperor who sought to blend the strength of the military with the vitality of the land. My reign, though cut short by the hands of those I sought to lead, left an indelible mark on Rome. The fields and vineyards I nurtured, the policies I enacted, and the principles I upheld continue to echo through the annals of history. In the quiet moments of my life, whether walking through the meadows of my youth or tending to the gardens of the imperial palace, I found solace in the simple beauty of nature. This love for the earth, intertwined with my duty to the empire, became the essence of my legacy. Through the trials and triumphs, my enduring hope was that Rome would thrive, nourished by the fertile soil and the unwavering spirit of its people. Thank you for watching. Our channel, known as the Renaissance Spirit, is dedicated to the pursuits of a just, equitable, and humanitarian world. Video topics encompass areas including history, politics, religion, personal development, society, culture, social and environmental justice, and other topics of liberal arts and sciences, including ancient Rome and the Roman Empire, which is a great comparison and contrast of the modern world. Topics perfect for the true modern polymath. The Renaissance ushered in a golden age and the pursuit of knowledge both lost to time and yet to be discovered. It gave birth to the Enlightenment and the Age of Reason. Embracing truth, knowledge, and an understanding and compassion for humanity opens up the world to each of us individually and improves all of humanity, affording us the opportunity to be better stewards of the earth and to each other. The Renaissance spirit, more than just a philosophy or style, but a style for living, learning, growing, and thinking. Please subscribe, turn on notifications, and share. If you're looking to explore and experience what life has to offer, I'm sure you'll enjoy the other videos on my channel. Please peruse and let me know in the comments what you get out of them and what other videos you'd like to see. But first, please take the quiz next to see if you're a Renaissance spirit. Live the Renaissance spirit.